family, so I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about you survived the attacks. Now they don't know what else to do. You survived. They have been looking to take you out. They have been looking to take us out. And we continuously surprise them with surviving these attacks and all these braids and things they tend to throw our way, you know. And what's wild is a lot of it has to do with, like, one, the playbook they're using, and two, because they even have the access to do it. Like, most beings that kind of almost get the best out of us usually are the ones closest to us, because we don't allow everybody and anybody just in our personal spiritual space or our physical space, you know. And as you continuously grow in this process, and whether you're living in with some of these beings or you don't live in the house with some of these beings, you'll see and realize how hard it is for them to process how you survived. How did you muster up the strength? Where did you get the courage from? Why do you still believe? Why do you still keep your faith so high? And what's crazy is, like, through regular conversation, you can tell where a lot of these beings have been receiving their information from. So once you walk this way for a while, you kind of understand that, this is the playbook they're using, so this is why they give this kind of information. We use this playbook, so this is why we give this kind of information. It's a airport kind of close to me, so this ain't no weird gang stalking thing. It's an airport right here, so they're always passing and flying across. But back to what I was saying about surviving these attacks. I just survived a barrage of them. Like, it was non-stop. It was so many non-stop attacks. It was like I didn't even have time to self-sabotage because the attacks was coming so abruptly and so randomly and so off the wall, but from the beings who I knew it was coming from, but they package it in such a special way to where it feels and comes off like a mystery package. It's not a mystery package. You know what I mean? Like, I'm knowledgeable enough to understand what's going on. I'm intelligent enough to use my emotions and my logic and my actions, their actions, to compile a better summary than, you know, the picture that they painting. And I'm also aware of the things, and I know a lot of us are aware of the things when we are doing things to self-sabotage ourselves and when someone else is trying to sabotage us. And then sometimes, because the system is so witchy right now, you may get a little confused if you're self-sabotaging or somebody sabotaging you. Sometimes they run concurrent. You know, sometimes you get beings beside you who know that when you get into a certain space, you like to overindulge in certain things, and then they'll just help you overindulge. So then that way, it doesn't look like they're doing anything to hurt you, when really they already see that you're not in the best space and you're kind of on a downward spiral and you're trying to level out. But then they're going to give you the tools and the supplies you need to kind of help pull yourself down. And when that's not working, they have their own methods on top of those tactics that they do. They focus so much energy on taking us out and taking you out, and even the ones beside us. Like, every time you survive an attack or you survive an attack, look at their reaction. See how they respond after you survived the attack. Check out their action and their reaction after you survive the attack. You know, I had a compilation of things going on when I was moving and transforming my situation. I was moving from a location and I was having a hard time finding another space because the way the realtor shit is all set up out here, all the prices is up. People are being witchy with allowing bring people in. So it's a much difficult process trying to find a space. Even if you got the finances, it's still a little tricky trying to get into a space. So I'm going through a living, moving transformation, which I had a being who was beside me who were, quote unquote, signed up to say they was going to help me in this process. It was supposed to be a short, fast process. I could be out of there, bada bing, bada boom. I'm out of there now. I got my own space. We straight in that department. I am over that transition. But what happened through that transition was I end up moving out of my space where I was at. I get court papers pushed on me from the mother of my child just because she can. Hubraha. I'm taking on court, living an hour away from where I'm at. I could have had a lawyer for the courts, but I decided, I don't know if I decided, I think the Creator decided for me that if I'm going to move up and transition in the spiritual realm to a higher space and given more responsibilities, then I have to step into tougher situations. So that was one reason why I know that I had to take on those court processes that time without the lawyer. You know, it was just me fighting for my mini. You know what I mean? And the Creator giving me the momentum, strength, encouragement, and knowledge to kind of take on a female judge. I got the female lawyer on my mother and my child's side, and then we got a female guardian ad litem. So it's already weird being in a courtroom with a bunch of feminine energy who couldn't beat me physically, but they all have this weird authority and a power over me, you know. But the way the Creator used my vessel to communicate in the space, it was like they wanted to do worse and they couldn't. So on top of me battling this process right here and my living situations being arranged, I got somebody who's beside me who's saying they helping and pretend helping, but they doing a bunch of witchy stuff in the process. Like my headphones broke, my speakers in my car randomly messed up after I let them use it. You know, they hid a toothbrush in the house and said that I hid it when it randomly popped up when me and my mini was both in the bathroom. And which was crazy about the toothbrush situation is I feel like this being hid the toothbrush to create a situation, but the Creator always has my back. Like the Creator always got my back. When the toothbrush popped up, me and my mini was in the bathroom and it was just sitting across the side of the bathroom, like whoever took a bath previously probably brushed their teeth while they were taking a bath and just forgot to grab the toothbrush. So then they wanted to say me and my mini and the Creator is a liar because they knew that they didn't do anything. It was just a bunch of weird mixes of things that was going on. So after I get done with the court stuff, you know, they couldn't do what they wanted to do. I still end up getting my time with my mini. I just got some minus because of how far I was living. Once that was finished, it was like my spirit was like on the up and up because I could feel like I got a huge weight off. I've been doing all this apartment searching. I'm getting some stuff organized and lined up. It was just a load with all the witchy stuff I'm living in with the court stuff going on. Hubraha. I'm still trying to get this knowledge out. You know what I'm saying? It's like a whole, I'm feeling the effects of not having my daughter at the same amount of time. For some reason, they just feel like men don't feel shit if our little ones get pulled away from us. You know what I mean? Me and my mini was on a week to week. You know what I'm saying? So until that, I moved and transformation happened. And that's when it went down to weekend time until I got back in town. And now it's about to go back to week. You know what I mean? But when I get that over with, I was clearing. I felt the spirit lifting up. I could see that the other being was working tactics to try to keep me beat down and down in the process while I was going through that process. They was like helping and trying to beat at the same time. It was really weird. It was a day before I was supposed to go get my mini, and that's when I guess CPS had got a call saying that I had licked my daughter, right? I pull up to my BM house. None of us knew. My BM didn't know. I didn't know. Nobody was aware. And I feel like the only being that knew and was aware was the being who I was staying with at the time in the process of my transition. So I end up signing over my rights and stuff for the weekend, blah, 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 blah. this being had other beings pulling up for the weekend. It was like this whole weird process where it felt like this being was so disgusting and evil and orchestrated a bunch of bullshit lies so they can have their way over the weekend. CPS said they didn't get the call till Thursday. I'm supposed to get my daughter on Friday. So the beings who knew me, knew my schedule and my routine, already know that, all right, this man about to get his daughter. Let me make the call now. And they made the call anonymous. They didn't leave no names or anything, so nobody could say anything or do anything. It was this whole weird process, right? And this being, during this whole time, I kept trying to read their energy, but I didn't have to keep reading it because I already kind of knew that they did it, but I didn't want to tell them that I felt like I know that you did it. I just kept saying, I don't know who did it. Because in my mind, I just kept thinking, you are a really evil being. That's all I kept processing was somebody is trying to take me out right now. I would never do anything harmful or that disgusting to my mini or any other little people in general or any females, and I definitely wouldn't do that to no men. I wouldn't do any of that weird shit. So when I got that weird-ass allegation, it automatically put me in that space of, all right, this is what all these other celebrities and higher up and bigger people go through. I'm just going through it on a much smaller level. So it had me in this space for about a week because it's like, I don't know what this evil motherfucker is about to do. And then they had another evil entity working with them, but it all seemed like they was transpiring riding off of my BM's energy. My BM don't talk to them, but if spiritually I know that they all have a connection because they all using the same playbook. So it just felt like they was all riding together. And after I knocked all that shit out the way, I was doing my numbers because I'm a high risk investor. I like doing that. I ended up hitting on one of my joints for like almost 3 bands. So it was like the universe was trying to give me some dollars, some momentum, just help me get everything reorganized. But after looking at their face and comparing them, especially the one I was beside, man, they looked so scared and worried. Like, the entities inside don't want to get exposed. Even if they already exposed, they don't want to be exposed more. They don't like to hear about themselves. They don't like when you start pouring that shit back onto them. You know what I mean? And that put me in a space of understanding. Like, for one, I know men can do it, but women, y'all are fucking creepy scary when y'all get to that space and y'all use that demonic playbook. Because I would much rather you try to stab me or shoot me opposed from creating some bullshit ass lies and allegations to try to take me out. And especially when I'm already at like a weird low point now. I done came out that transition, so I can talk about it now. But in the meantime, when I was going through it, I was still one of the most light beings around between all my peers and everybody I was still engaging with. And most people, when I communicate with them, they would never even know that I had so much weight and stuff going on top of me at the time, just because I guess I don't wear it all over my face and all over my arms and stuff. Some people are like, oh, I could never tell. That's because you don't know how to read energy or the spirit. You know what I mean? So if you did, then you would already understand. But surviving them attacks, the rewards just start piling on afterwards. They maneuvered so many ways, and I'm just speaking of like one of my most recent transition situations, you know, because that was a fucking lot. I ain't even gonna lie, that was a lot. That's kind of why my videos have started getting spread out between 2 days, 3 days. It just kept getting a little bit choppy because I'm trying to take on all these interpersonal battles, and then I'm also trying to tighten up my defense from the other entities I had surrounding me that was really trying to take me out. But I'm a fighter and a warrior, so that shit doesn't work. You know, you just gotta work a little bit harder. If you ain't willing to work harder and fight harder than me, you might as well not even try, you know? Because the way I walk my life, even with them putting them accusations out there, between my daughter and the school, they already stood solid behind me already. My daughter knows damn well I would never do that, and it had never happened to her. And all the schools already spoke up for my character. I'd be at the school all year round, you know, since when that time got reduced and minimized. So now, if I'm not getting her week to week, then I mean, I'm going to jump out there. I'm going to come catch you for lunch. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make that time. That's my job. I know if it's hard for me, I know it's hard for her. So why would I just neglect her in the process because it's getting hard for me? Hell nah, I'll eat that, Lexi. I'll eat that for my mini, and I'll keep on taking on the motherfucking battles. They continuously trying to take us out, you know? And that's just, like I said, my most recent one that I had going on. I done been through so many battles and attacks, like, it would be hard to, I would need a lot of time to literally start trying to run down all the times where I was just randomly, I always say random because it's just a great word to use. But I always just randomly just start getting attacked. And it's like, it's from the people that you feel like is supposed to be around you. The ones that you care about, the ones that you got some kind of feelings for, the ones that you would kind of take a bullet for, you know, the ones that you would kind of jump out the window and fight for. So for me now, I try to keep that space, and if a situation ever happened in front of me, you better stand solid yourself, because I ain't jumping out the window for none of them. None of them. If they not showing me how solid they are and they got my back, then I can no longer risk where the Creator got me at and have me doing for their benefits and their help, you know? And we definitely don't have to be saving anybody that's been trying to take us out. And that's the thing, even with the lesbian, like a lot of women meet and have all these relationships with all these guys, right? But then when you get to somebody like me, you have zero knowledge that you've gained from these other men. All the other men that you've been around, they haven't been teaching anything of any value or substance. This being got in my space in a couple months, and they done learn how to live, take care of themselves, cook, what to do, how to create routines, you know, all the substance things that can help you live, survive, and create peace. You know, I gave them a lot of hints. It was so much that being was able to get from me, and that I was willing to give. And with us giving this much, it teaches them how to create a new mask to blend in, to destroy and hurt more people, you know? But in my mind and in my world, it's like, it's my job to share the knowledge and information, right? So if I do it and you abuse it, then you just have to know that my team is coming for you. My team is coming for you. I don't know why beings feel like the Creator wouldn't have great defenses, great offices, warriors, super peaceful beings. Like, we are all of the above. We all of the above. You don't know how many times I done got into fights when I was in a good mood, you know, or laughing, giggling, having a good time, and had to get in a fight. You know, I done got in a fight, sad, angry, on any kind of emotion you speak of. You know, I could have been in a regular mode and still end up getting into a situation. These beings is not going to stop. That's why we have to perfect our defense. These beings are going to keep attacking with everything they got in them. But the rewards are way more fulfilling afterwards, you know. I had to thug it out and fight through that whole space, but afterwards, now I done ended up in a whole 2-bedroom with plenty of space, you know what I mean? And I'm back in the town to where I could get my custody reorganized. I'm getting my numbers. Everything is flowing back together. I'm about to make these upgrades and create these shifts right here. But before I got to this space, it's, what, May? I had to go through September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. Yeah, you see how many this is? That's 8 months. I had to go through an 8-month transition before I started seeing 8 months of a transition before I started seeing any of the real fruits. Now, I get sprinkled rewards in there because I had been fighting through the whole process, but to be able to be in a much more peaceful state after fighting and fighting and fighting, you don't know how long it's going to take. I didn't know how long it was going to take. After I held my fingers up and realized it was 8, I'm like, damn, that was almost a year, but it didn't feel like it because spiritual time all just kind of feels like it's running concurrent. So you don't know physically, but the Creator will always tell you and show you. So you have to be mindful, like, all right, I know I just went through a lot of pressure, a bunch of weird witchy stuff, people attacking me, creating allegations, all this weird stuff. But at the end of the day, I still stood solid through all the pressure, and I still pushed God, the Creator, and the Most High. It's my team I'm riding for till the wheels fall off, you know what I mean? It feels much better, even though it's a lot harder. But I ain't want to run it up too long, you know what I'm saying? Tapping everything down below in the descriptions. Peace and love to the kings and queens.